Let's continue with some other stories. This time, let's bring you some shocking details, because if you're just joining us this afternoon, well, 4 policemen who have been alleged to be involved in bullion van attacks in parts of the country have been put before court. 2 others were shot dead in a shootout, according to a police at the hideout at Ashaiman. According to the police, some of the suspects, however, escaped with gunshot wounds. The arrest comes only a day after the service announced it had arrested 2 of its men who were believed to have a hand in several bullion robberies in Accra since 2021. We'll get all the latest from the court shortly, but let's hear from Director General of the Police Public Affairs Directorate, DCOP Kwesi. He's been speaking to us.
Intelligence-led operations, intelligence raid-based at Botima near Shaman. And the police officers who were earlier on arrested, the 2 of them, were properly briefed as to how they can assist under that intel ambit to get the other criminals. And it was not like handcuffing or the normal kind of escorting a suspect. So with the handcuffs, they went, but they were briefed about their limits and bounds. And when they went in, quickly and unfortunately, the suspects opened fire on the police and they sustained gunshot wounds. They were taken to the police hospital. Unfortunately, they passed on. And the atmosphere was so complex and risky, but the police have resort to do whatever they can. Some of the suspects sustained gunshot injuries, but they escaped. That is why we are appealing to medical authorities. We are appealing to individuals and groups that anyone who sees them anywhere should report to the police to enable us to arrest them. And the police administration would like to say that we put up a machinery in place to police the police, to be able to identify wrong cops and let them face justice. And we will do everything possible to flush such miscreants out of the service. The service is poised and determined to deliver better security services to our community members, our people and country, and will pursue this course to its logical conclusion. The Inspector General of Police has also put up a lot of programs to reorient policemen to make sure that we get them along the track of goodness and of service to this country. In the release, we've also stated that we are pursuing others and we're counting on the public to assist. And no matter what, we'll get them and they will face justice. Final assurance that the Ghana Police Service will continue to offer its best services to our countrymen and women who serve the young, the aged, the business class, who serve our communities, villages, and cities, and the country in general. And that decisions and actions initiated by the police administration in getting out the bad note should be supported by all.
So you heard the Director General of the Police Public Affairs Directorate's DCOP Kwesi is speaking to us there. Joining me in studio is security analyst Dr. Adam Bona. We'll have a conversation around this. Thank you for joining us here. Yeah. But before I get to Dr. Adam Bona, on all of that has been happening over the last 12 hours, let me just quickly run by you some developments since March 7 on this subject, as the police made us aware. So on the 7th of March, 2 police officers were arrested for alleged involvement in bullion van robberies, according to a statement the police issued that day. Now, the police assured that day that more details were going to be made available subsequently. And so fast forward a couple of days after that, so on the 8th of March, 2 policemen were killed, 4 other officers were arrested, and then 1 other person also arrested in connection with these bullion van attacks as well as other robberies. And then 2 died in a raid at Boteman near Ashaiman during a crossfire. Now 5 suspects we're told have been arraigned, and currently they are in court. We'll be crossing over to speak to my colleague Judith Awachitando, who is currently in court monitoring proceedings there. But as we wait for that, let me invite Dr. Bona. Dr. Bona, I remember a couple of days ago on the 7th of March when you spoke to us after the police statement, you had said that based on the police intelligence equipment and apparatus, there could be a possibility of fishing out more police officers, and those who resist arrest could be killed. and today we are here.
Yeah. Good afternoon to your viewers. Yes, if you work closely with the police, you would understand, the new, angle, the paradigm, the new paradigm, what, the new path they are taking. And so I'm not surprised that, quickly they have been able to apprehend more police officers. But I think that the numbers will still go up. The number of police officers involved will still go up.
Wow.
And if you look at these gang of criminals, suspected criminals, of whom some of them have been killed, it looks like these were colleagues who probably were already criminals or were involved in, doing such things, and all of them, en bloc joined the service at the same time. Okay. And so I would implore the police, probably they should go further to see who led them into the service. Who led them into the service is very important. Then you can see, these are boys, these are young people, lance corporals, and these are people who, constables, these are just boys who probably, some misfits in our society, who probably calls himself a big man, led them into the service. And you also notice that all of them were working with the national SWAT.
Okay.
Almost, I think so, almost all of them with the national SWAT. It tells you that these are people who had planned their, entry into the service, either in connivance with somebody who has power, and they went in there and, tried to kill, and strangely enough, this guy who, the Adedenko, the Jamestown, seemed to be one of their, recruit mates. So it tells you that he's somebody they know, and he knows them. Okay. And so I do believe that there will be further arrest as the days go by. Yeah.
That would be scary then, Dr. Bona, because as an individual, a citizen like me, I would rely on the police to offer me protection in times of danger. And now these are the same individuals who are conniving with others to kill us, rob us, and destabilize the society.
Well, that is scary. I mean, I must tell you, some time back, some of us, even at our level, I used to be a bit, afraid in the night, or maybe when I'm in traffic, that anything could happen, because then when you work within the sector, you can see clearly the rots that, existed and persisted in the past. And so, and there was no way, those who were there, where they didn't probably do much to get these people out. Because these people have spent some time in the service, at least call it maybe 5 years. And so it means that this is an inherited problem. And these people existed, and there are some of them who are still there. Some of them who are still there go to, take Accra, for instance. I don't want to mention any division. But most trotros in Accra are owned by some police officers. Okay, most Okadas are owned by police officers. So it tells you that what they have signed themselves onto to do, they end up getting themselves into all forms of shady deals so that they are able to outdo one another. And so for me, yes, it is scary, but I think that we must congratulate the current police administration for getting these guys arrested. And there are several other arrests that I am privy to, but I am not allowed to
divulge.
No, I'm not allowed to share this. They are doing a lot, but I can't tell you, and I know as we speak, they are still out there trying to catch some of the bad guys.
Yeah, and DCOP mentioned that in that interview with my colleague Peter Kwa Adato. But what will it take for the service to peg itself of what would appear to some as a bad name, as the police appears to be building confidence, in the public in the last few months?
I think I must say something that sounds a bit controversial. I will still go back to the fact that we should stop enlisting WASI graduates into the police service, because most of these people really don't have classmates. When I say you don't have classmates, it is easy for you to be a faceless person who go out there committing a crime than someone who is going to do a diploma at GIJ or university. Obviously there is something that you want to protect, your image, your family image, your friend's image. Okay. But most of these people who come in there, most of them didn't do too well. And so sometimes it sounds very controversial, but I think that if we can raise the, you know, the entry-level requirement, that will put some amount of check, you know, in place and getting, you know, getting rid of some of these bad things. And apart from that, you notice that in the past, I'll tell you what, 3 years ago, some of these officers actually spent 2.5 months, 3 months in the police training, you know, for their recruitment training. And so it tells you that if 6 months, those who went through the 6 months training are struggling, then someone who comes and is put through quickly will definitely have big police officer. And so I know there are several measures that are put in place, but the point of entry should be as rigorous as possible. And, you know, profiling, I have said in the past, and I still maintain, that anyone who joined the Ghana Police Service in the last 10 years, reprofile them. Let's know, which school did you go to? Which GSS did you go to? Which secondary school did you finish? You know, who is your mother? Who is your father? Who are your friends? Did you come in owning a car? Did you come in owning a house? Do you have a farm? Because then it looks like it is, you know, each one for himself. Okay. And so even though you can see the current IGP and his POMAB and, you know, those in charge are doing very well, there are still miscreants amongst them. And so they should put in more measures, reprofile all of them. I think once they do that, Kobla, we probably are going to live in a more peaceful. And I think I went through Takoradi to the north, to my, you know, district, the Isa district, and speaking to people along the way from Takoradi, Tamale to, most people felt that it looks like, you know, highway robberies have reduced, crime levels have reduced, but cannot be sustained. Okay. If it's going to be sustained, will depend on the current IGP, the executive putting a lot of resources, you know, at the doorstep of the police, because if you want to fight crime, you don't fight crime with sticks. Okay. You fight crime with intel.
Dr. Bona, I'll hold you on briefly. Let's just hear what some of you have been telling us. My colleague, Menu Afo, has been out and about, you know, gauging the expression of many of you on the latest police arrest and the development so far.
Now, 2 policemen have been arrested for allegedly being involved in the multiple Bullion van robberies in Accra. Now, this was made known in a statement released by the police on 7th March 2022. To us as citizens, does this raise any cause for alarm? We are here to find that out.
I feel I'm not secure because the police who is supposed to protect me are rather robbing me.
I said, the Omoya, the young, perform by a home by us is only on Roberts. I know back dear saying
I can't even allow myself to think that when something is wrong, I can even call upon them. Because maybe they may be the same people behind what is wrong with me. So I don't even think I can rely on the police right now.
The police are supposed to what? Protect us. And for the motto, serve with what? Integrity. And what's the integrity? Policeman stops a motorbiker just for 5 cedis, 50 cedis, 100 cedis. You understand? So if I should hear that policeman is involved in this kind of act, so for me, I don't know. I've lost everything in the police.
I won't say that it's something to cause for alarm now. Unless it has happened about 3-4 times, then you know that then this thing has to be this nip in the bag. Yeah, but now, no, just leave it as it and let the police do their work.
And if those are supposed to protect us are part of those who are robbing us and killing us, then of course, as a citizen, I feel insecure. So I expect the IGP to do more.
I don't feel so much insecure. I think I feel secured because I think that, yes, there are bad nuts in the Ghana Police Service. But I feel that Dampare and then the police administration now, as they have started and as they are trying to fish the bad nuts out, I feel very secure, and I think that if they continue like that, they can be able to fish all the bad nuts out of the police service.
So that's what some of you have been telling us about the latest developments with respect to what the police's action to nab its own who are thought to be involved in bullion van robberies and other robberies. Dr. Bona, so there's a little controversy about the statement the police issued where they talk about the 2 suspects they had arrested the day before being gunned down in a shootout. You know, people are raising concerns about how exactly this could have happened. You understand these processes? Well,
it's usually fairly normal in our situation. Of course, because probably I work with them behind the scenes and all that. Usually when suspects are apprehended, especially if whether highway robbers or Fulani headsmen, you know, like this we saw, usually they will put cuffs on them and they will lead them into a certain, you know, hideout where they are telling the police, the investigators, that this is where you are likely to find our people because we meet there at 5 p.m.
Okay.
And usually what they do is that they would have found a way to send information that we are going to be coming. So when we come, you should engage them. And so when you send them into the place is surrounded usually by criminals. So it is usually an ambush situation. And so once there is an ambush situation, it is going to be a bullet, you know, fired from the police's gun or from the other criminals who are fighting the police. But I have heard DCOP Kwesi Fori say we should help them. We don't know who these criminals are. Have they published the faces of who?
They haven't published the faces. They just gave us the names of those who died.
But so I think they have some information. There should be some pictorial. Let's have some information about how they look. Okay. Because these are dangerous people are on the loose. You know, police officers could kill colleague police officers and they take the police on in an ambush situation and the 2 initial suspects are gunned down. We haven't been told whether the guns that killed them came from the police or the suspected criminals. We haven't been told. We are told they died. But these things are fairly normal when they send them out there because how do you go if, you know, you don't know the location? Some of these places are very remote.
Thank you very much. Dr. Adam Bona, the security analyst, chief executive officer of Security Warehouse, helping us understand all that's been happening and developing over the last 12 hours.